Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. He's a member of the House Oversight Committee. Thank you very much, Congressman, for coming back to The Last Word. The Oversight Committee will depose Ghislaine Maxwell in prison on August 11th. Today, her lawyers asked for immunity. Comer indicated he won't do that?
Yeah, I think it's notable that Jim Comer said no immunity deal. But in addition to that, she asked for the questions in advance. She asked for the ability to leave prison and come and testify in the open. And, I think these are just ridiculous conditions. And I think that we should have her testify without any strings attached.
Comer has yet to issue a subpoena for all the Epstein files from the Department of Justice. Is Comer going to actually follow through with using his subpoena power?
I hope so. But at the end of the day, as you know, we don't have like an inherent ability to enforce this subpoena without going through the Justice Department and then going to the courts. And so if she resists, then we would have to go to the courts and the Justice Department. As you know, Donald Trump controls this Justice Department, and the number two, the Deputy Attorney General, is basically Trump's lawyer. And so we would have to deal with him, unfortunately.
How concerned are you about Maxwell's meeting with the Deputy Attorney General and former Trump criminal defense lawyer Todd Blanche?
Extremely concerned. Look, I think that she wants to get out of jail. That is her number one imperative at this point. And on the other hand, Donald Trump's lawyer has the ability to offer inducements, make threats, do various things to shape her testimony, maybe even get her to say things that are completely fabricated and untrue and weaponize her against Democrats, for instance. And so I'm extremely concerned about that. That's why I'm glad that Senator Durbin asked for all the files associated with this interview, any transcripts, and the fact that they have not been provided raises even more questions and causes probably even a greater percentage of Americans to want the full Epstein files and everything about it to be released and for there to be full accountability in an administration where there's very little at this point.
Are you satisfied, Congressman, with the pace and scope of congressional efforts to investigate? Do you believe Republicans are actually interested in getting at the truth?
Interestingly, I was talking to some of my Republican colleagues in private, and they are under a lot of pressure on this one from their base. Now, we've seen Trump pull a Houdini in the past with regard to similar situations in other contexts. But in this particular case, there seems to be an unusual amount of pressure from the most right wing of the MAGA base and members of Congress who represent them. Everyone from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Scott Perry to Mr. Norman of South Carolina and so forth. And I think that this one may not go away. I should just say one other thing, which is that my constituents are saying, as your poll indicated, release the files, bring full transparency and accountability here with the Epstein situation. But they're also saying, get to our business, get to our other legislative business, which has come to a standstill because of this Epstein issue. The worst case scenario is, this thing is going to continue to linger. They're not going to disclose the files. The fracturing within the Republican Party is going to grow. And then we're coming up on a September 30th deadline to fund the government. And we can't, we could possibly be looking at a shutdown of government caused by the Epstein affair, which would be extremely, extremely unfortunate for my constituents.
Congressman, you are very good at TV because you anticipated what my next question was going to be, and that was, what are you hearing from your constituents? So you told me what you're hearing from them. You are hearing from them. So on that, we're going to leave it there. Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi, thank you very much for coming back to The Last Word.
Thank you, Jonathan.